Leo's season is here, and for my lovely energy workers and 5D mystics, you all know the yearly patterns. So, getting to choose your heart or not leading with an aligned heart body. So, that lovely third eye of ours is our prefrontal cortex, and it is all about self-awareness. Most people that I've seen so far in 4D land particularly, or 3D land, or in the land of the basically adaptive child, so people who only use that left mode and the right mode of their brain when those sensations come up from their body, they completely ignore mastering the energy body and the mind body and the physical body, and they don't actually hold their values. But they have other adaptive children, their group, that upholds those values with the energies that are not in a equanimous and above the neutrality line that would lead you potentially to I am presence and beyond. That 5D and beyond is a choice of non-duality after I am presence in a lovely sphere of one of the designers of the levels of consciousness. So people who talk about law of attraction manifestation, they should all pretty much be aware of it, except for they're not aware of how it's applied to their way of treating each other. So I see a lot of people knowing the words of these metaphysics, mystical, esoteric, all the lovely in-between. So the spiritual is the in-between. Spirituality with my lovely Sadhguru would be yoga, and only Sadhguru is my guru personally. Everybody else, I know they follow some people, makes me think of the Zen story where the non-disciples try to kick out the compulsive thief who needs to be supported. And in fact, the Zen master says you must forgive the compulsive thief. And these non-disciples, essentially, who are there for self-transformation, so they're there for personal growth, sounds different because the word spirituality makes people think that it's different than just you being on a human journey. The psychoeducators and education actually helps people once you know that yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagal nervous system exercises. And that's how you activate actually your mammalian heritage and how you use your cortex versus using your reptilian nervous system, which is the fight, flight, freeze, or fight, flight, fright, with the easier, lesser, lighter, in all cases, other trauma responses recently discovered: attach, cry for help, collapse, submit, please, appease. So when people are engaging in their adaptive child, they're in a yellow mode. So they're going to try and prove they're right, control the situation, which in fact these groups, they are always yelling at each other, or within your own mind, ruminating, creating hero-villain group journeys. And none of that is your heart body, by the way. None of that is, it might seem like you're holding your values, but it's an illusion in Maya land, which people who are in love with their own light, thinking they're light and others are not, or are one siphoned, so like seriously just thinking they know everything. Very interesting. The other types of minds, yoga teaches this, are monkey, the dull one, which I think they should switch it from donkey to something else, because donkey has a very strong spirit, although it made me think of one of the donkeys I've seen in a cartoon, so that's maybe why they used it. And then that third, butterfly, so scatterbrain. And all of these aspects, the lovely good psychoeducators, somatic, sensory-motor, trauma experts support people to know you get out of hell, that misalignment from within you, by allowing yourself to be walked through the past challenging situations from your life that will have created charge states that your adaptive child is presenting, because you're not connected to your higher self, your adult self. So you're not really yourself. So on this lovely Leo season, what are you going to get to choose? Well, it depends if you choose to lead from a heart and see through the blinders of Maya land, or of your adaptive child, and or of the non-disciple. So if you want to keep getting pissy at people and the world and believing in evil, then you have made a choice not to connect to pure consciousness heart. Of course, Purusha is not for everybody, as is Prakriti. So not everybody wants to achieve in this lifetime of now their higher potential, because apparently they think it's inaccessible. However, it's not, because you can unconditionally love and be in oneness consciousness with an integrated mind. So that just means you're using your left and right. So when you contemplate, instead of doing the shame cycle, which is inner critic, outer critic, then you're denying the stuff through alcohol, drugs, sex, compulsive behavior, food, running all the time, or it's basically what you do all the time, the only thing you can do to be stress relieved. Now, some people, the ones who have major situations, unfortunately, because of course to get to that point means that they will have ignored and avoided a lot of things, but it's because of overwhelming sensations. So the actual window of tolerance is very important to maintain. Here's where, unfortunately, 4D people don't support people to move into their self-transformation, because they give them words such as karma, as if you have a karmic or somebody against you, and they then create a whole other hero-villain journey for people that are intuitives, which is why I share for my 5D mystics, the ones who want to move out of the bandwidth of 4D land, which is not a bandwidth that exists in some other plane. It's actually right here on Earth, and it's all the people who get into groups. They talk about mysticism and the spiritual stuff, even yoga, unfortunately, and they claim to be better than others, or they impose their vegan lifestyle on others. Basically, oh my gosh, you're not a vegan. How dare you? So any extreme person is not actually out of Maya, because they don't know that they're overcharged or undercharged. Undercharge is going to be the dysregulated embodied person. Overcharge is definitely sympathetic. And in all cases, usually in the group, they sing Kumbaya. They're happy to be isolated, but then when they get with other groups, they're not. So your heart is not leading the way, because the heart body is pure consciousness. Can't be pure consciousness if you don't know how to unconsciously love with your flaws and imperfections and others. Furthermore, you will not have dissolved the heartbreak, the defectiveness, the shame at the bottom of the journey of that first-year-old. So the ones who stay with a heart that unconsciously loves, so we maintain our connectedness to consciousness, Purusha, and Prakriti, our energy, we actually know, okay, I'm going to eat moderately, I'm going to drink moderately, I'm going to do all activities moderately. We learn it and we feel it because we pay attention. If I'm going to throw up, I don't want to throw up. If I'm going to get, it's very much about awareness. If I get hurt, my body's hurt. This is my container. If it's not feeling good, I'm not going to feel good. The energy body, your emotional plane. Now that one's a little bit more tricky, because if your nervous system didn't learn how to self-regulate in a way that uses your ventral vagal, so you don't have a restorative embodied self, you don't know how to do that yet until you put into the effort, if you will, and you really need to also be exposed to it. So you need to meet Zen masters, the 5D Enlightenment Soul Age group people who unconsciously love each other, who know that everybody has flaws, and so, it's okay, we're not our greatest mistake. So they don't believe in evil, because evil is a word that was used in the past only in religious institutions, and today, or somehow it got used, and it continues to get used in a lot of other conversations. In fact, I plan on having an episode on that one again, because it's kind of time to say the mind's eye is the mind's eye, and it's in the head. And what we're seeing is people that don't make smart choices that are leading us. We can get them to make smart choices. Using the word evil doesn't really have them make right or wrong choices, does it? It doesn't impact, except for you insult people. So insulting people, that's shaming, blaming, faulting, and that's all adaptive child, which is not love language. Functional adults, they know how to speak. They know how to be even better smartasses, by the way, because when you're eloquent, intellectual, and you're able to maintain your energy body in a way that others who are adaptive children are not, that's where you're going to make more sense, because your brain, it's all working. So when your default mode network is downregulated, and that only happens when all hands are on deck with an integrated mind, which is the optimal health, by the way, of the human potential, your potential, my potential. So choosing in Leo season to have an actual lion's roar, it means you do understand, I will never hurt mentally, emotionally, or physically another person, because that would not be right. I will never hurt others, try to do my best to speak to others, right? And try to do the best to leave the world a better place than yesterday, so we can co-create all together in the absence of believing in anything except for in our lovely infinite higher human consciousness potential experience, which we get to talk about on the episodes. And so on this Leo season, roar the love you have for each other, work together, create together, build together, and let's try and leave something behind for our future generations who are going to stay here. while we pass along. Some of us will come back. 5D mystics, raise your hand. I'm coming back. Have a great day.